Hi everyone, this is Tisch Aitken and I'm here to discuss this month's winter solstice chart as well as the full moon in Cancer, which takes place the following day. Today is December 12th, 2018, and we recently had Mercury stationed direct at 27 degrees of Scorpio. Mercury in Scorpio is highly perceptive and intuitive, and it can dig deep and uncover information, particularly when it's retrograde in the sign of Scorpio. Mercury now re-enters the sign of Sagittarius later today, where it's technically in its detriment, but it also is more humorous and optimistic in its perspective. As we get further into the month, Venus, which is also a personal planet and represents how we connect, how we relate to others, what we value, and how we earn money, clears its shadow from the retrograde story that we've all been working on this fall. Venus originally stationed retrograde at 10 degrees and 55 minutes of Scorpio on October 5th, 2018. But really, we've been working with the Venus retrograde story since the beginning of September when it entered its shadow. When Venus clears its shadow on December 18th, it's going to be moving forward in terms of the stories that came up regarding, past issues around finances, debt, around unhealed wounds, maybe relationships from the past people could have resurfaced, or there might have been karmic relationships you began during this retrograde period. Now, Venus will be in Scorpio until January 7th, but we're clearing that story, and Venus will not be in Scorpio retrograde for another 8 years, and it is the most intense placement when Venus retrogrades in Scorpio. So that's a good thing that it's going forward, and Mercury will clear its shadow entirely on December 24th, so we can really move ahead in our pursuits. Now, in the winter solstice chart, there is Cancer rising, so the moon rules the chart, and the moon is, about your security and needs and getting your emotional support. And the North Node of Destiny is also in the sign of Cancer in the first house, and the North Node recently entered Cancer on November 6th. And the North Node in Cancer is also about seeking security and nurturing. And it forms a trine to Mars and Chiron, which are at the top of the chart. And Mars is in the sign of Pisces, and it recently formed a conjunction with Neptune on the new moon in Scorpio. And that can be an aspect of dissolving things and of endings. And although we recently, with the new moon in Sagittarius on December 7th, there were definitely new beginnings, and it was a very manifesting new moon. The Mars-Neptune conjunction definitely dissolves things, and I heard of a few endings over the weekend. Now, with the story going forward with this winter solstice chart, there is a lot of water. There is Cancer ascendant, which is a cardinal water sign. The North Node of Destiny is in Cancer. Neptune is in Pisces, close to the top of the chart, which is the world stage and the angle of career. Mars in Pisces and Chiron in Pisces. So a lot of water, and Venus in Scorpio, which is a fixed water sign. A lot of water, a lot of emotional energy. But the Saturnian energy is very emphasized because Saturn in Capricorn is within 2 degrees of the descendant, which is a major angle, and the angle of relationships. And then the full moon that occurs the following day is at 0 degrees of Cancer, which is the sign that rules the solstice chart, and the moon rules the sign of Cancer. So therefore the full moon is in its rulership, but very emotional and sentimental energy, and very intuitive, but very family related. But I think with this solstice chart, it's emphasized that there's a lot of pain that needs to be healed, and all of us need to restore our energy, restore ourselves. But it's also clear that Saturn and Capricorn is at the forefront, because in the solstice chart, Saturn is within 2 degrees of the descendant. In the full moon chart, Saturn is exactly conjunct the midheaven in Capricorn. So Saturn does not mess around. It's about taking accountability and responsibility in our lives. It's really about figuring out what you want to anchor in 2019. As we begin 2019, we're going to have a solar eclipse that takes place on January 5th at 15 degrees of Capricorn, and there will be 7 planets or 7 points in Capricorn. So again, this is not fooling around. This is about facing reality. Understandably, there are a lot of wounds that need to be healed on a global level, and a lot of pain that many of us are feeling. It's been an incredibly intense year, but it will continue to be more intense, I think, in 2019. And, you know, in the winter solstice chart and in the full moon chart, Jupiter is conjunct Mercury in Sagittarius. And in the solstice chart, they're exact. So there is a reason to feel hopeful and optimistic. There is generosity and kindness with that aspect. And, you know, it is about seeing things in an optimistic way to try to heal, but we have to figure that Saturn and Capricorn is really demanding that we take care of business and really figure what you want with Saturn conjunct the midheaven. What do you want to accomplish in 2019? Because it's time to play ball. So thank you very much and good luck.